Welcome to Live Your Best Life. We're real excited about having you here today, and I'm here today to talk to you about your $1 million sales success. How would you like to be successful in sales? Everybody that I know wants to be successful at something. And I work with sales professionals and entrepreneurs to help them improve their performance, increase their income, and dominate their market. Sound good? That's what we're going to talk about today. $1 million sales success. My name is Velton Showell, and I'm here to work with you to take your performance from good to great, to no longer settle for average, but to strive for outstanding. And to do that, many times, we have to get back to the basics. Think about an athlete. An athlete performing at the highest level started out understanding the basics and doing the things that needed to be done to build upon to have a successful future. So it is in athletics, so it is in business and in life. You always have to get back to the basics. So as we talk today and we get into it, we're going to talk a little bit about the sales basics. We're going to talk a little bit about building your business and getting customers to understand who you are, what you're about, and what you bring to the equation by going back to the basics. And what do we mean by the basics? There are 6 key principles in sales that they talk about that are the basics of sales. And the first is prospecting. Prospecting, going out, finding business, finding customers, doing business with those who have the ability and propensity to purchase your product, utilize your product, and have their needs fulfilled. Who are they? How do we find them? The way we find them is through prospecting. Back in 1998, I wrote a book called Prospecting, the Key to Your Future Success. And I took the key concepts that I've learned over the years and I added them to that book. And that book was the premise behind my first workshop called Prospecting, the Key to Your Future Success. But I want you to understand something, and I want you to put this in the feed. I want you to put in the feed hashtag prospecting equals networking. Because when I started in sales many years ago, we were given something. We were given a big book. We were given a binder, and we were told, go out there and make phone calls. Some of you were given the phone book. Some of you were giving industry encyclopedias and reference manuals that showed you who the people in that business or industry were that were doing the things that you needed to sell them your product to complete. So prospecting became cold calls. You were actually either calling these people blindly or you were knocking on their door. You were going to their office and saying, hey, I'm here and I have a product that is just for you. And many times they would either not talk to you on the phone, not open the door. Sometimes they had the door slammed in your face. But I'm here to tell you there's a better way. And the better way is now networking. If you're doing cold calls and you're prospecting, your success ratio is less than 2%. However, if you're utilizing your network of people that you know, you've heard of the 6 degrees of separation? That's exactly what it's all about. There have been major platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media engines that allow us to utilize our network to break down the barriers, to turn cold calls into soft calls. How much better is it that if you call someone and say to them, I was recommended to connect with you by Velton Showell. I was recommended to call you based on a conversation that I had with Ruben West. That's what we're talking about. That's the difference between good and great. That's the new way of prospecting. Prospecting is no longer doing cold calls. Prospecting is utilizing your network, your collaborative network of like-minded, aspiring professionals to bring you from outside to inside, to make the initial introduction that allows you to have a relationship with a customer and to begin to understand who they are, what they are about, and how you can help them. So I want you to understand, again, put it in the feed, hashtag prospecting equals networking. There's a quote that I love that says, your network will determine your net worth. Truer words have very rarely been spoken. Understand the power and the importance of your network. And the second basic in sales is qualifying. Are you fishing where the fish are? Do you have the right person? Is that the customer who has the ability to utilize what it is you're selling? Because if that person can't utilize what you're selling, then spending the time working with them and going through the process is useless. They can't utilize your product. In addition to determining whether or not they can utilize the product, to what extent are they able to buy from you on a continuous basis? Or is this a transactional relationship? You know, many times salespeople get into a relationship with a customer and it's strictly on a transactional basis. And they sell very, very hard, very, very aggressively to get that transaction. What they fail to understand is that if they spent more time qualifying that customer and understanding their buying habits and their abilities to purchase long term, they would spend more time with customers that have the ability to repeat that process over and over again. They would develop the relationship with that customer that allowed them to take that one transaction and make it a long-term event. And I remember early in my career, I worked in the hotel business for over 27 years. And one of my customers was a gentleman named Howard Mills. And Howard didn't utilize our facility. He utilized another facility across town. But he utilized the convention center, which was right across the street from the facility I worked in. And I met with Howard and I said, you know, Howard, we'd really like to have your business. And he said, well, you know, I don't really need another hotel. I have the hotels to facilitate my meeting, my convention. I need no more hotels. I said, well, you know, we're right across the street from the convention center. And by qualifying, understanding who Howard was, what his meeting needs were, I said, you have exhibitors. You have a major trade show. Why don't you just test us by letting us have the ability to solicit your exhibitors to stay with us versus staying on the other side of town. Their ability to go back and forth to the convention center now increases, so they have the ability to give you a better show. It worked. He gave us a chance. He gave us an opportunity. But to take the story to the end, we built a relationship. The two of us became partners because I was willing to give him a small block for his exhibitors, which fulfilled a need that we were able to uncover. Remember need, because we'll come back to that in a minute. Once we filled that need, his exhibitors loved the fact that they were right across the street and they could go back and forth so easily. What ended up happening is, once the exhibitors were happy, his attendees started to want to be on this side of town, close to the convention center also. At the end of the day, I had left and been promoted onto another hotel, but that hotel till recently, because the convention centers moved to the other side of town, became the official headquarters hotel for his convention for the next 15 years. So the qualification process opened the door, not just for an initial transaction, but for a transaction that lasted years after I had moved on to another location and another position. So let me just say this about qualification. Qualification is a couple things. Number one, you get educated on what your customer's potential is through qualification. The second part of that is you're educating your customer on the fact that you can fulfill certain needs that may be in the back of their mind, that may not be in the forefront of their schedule or their agenda at that moment. But you're uncovering each other's needs and abilities in the qualification process. And as the sales professional, you then have the ability to make a decision. Do I pursue this based on what I'm learning, or is it something that I should table and move on until another time? So now you have two of the steps. You have networking, you have qualification or education. The third step is engage. What are you doing in the engagement process? You are understanding and presenting what it is you found out in the qualification process. You found that the customer has a need. You've uncovered their needs. You understand what it is they're looking for. And now you are presenting how your product can fulfill those needs. How your product answers the question. Many times when we are trying to sell, we miss the boat because we want to overload the customer with benefits. And the benefits that we're trying to overload the customer with are not really important to them. How many times have you been in a store where someone's trying to sell you something that you don't need or that you don't find a benefit in? Of what purpose? And at the end of the day, you walk out of the store shaking your head going, I just wasted my time here. Because they don't understand what's important to me. As a salesperson, before you present your product, you need to understand what is important to the customer. And then once you understand it, now you've got something to present. Now you understand the power behind your product. It's no longer something that is a feature of your product. It's now a benefit to the customer. You want to sell benefits to the customer. The third area. So now that you're educated, now that the customer has told you what it is that they're looking for, and you've uncovered their needs, because a lot of times you're going to uncover the need and even the need behind the need. What is driving them to want to make that purchase? So now that you understand what the customer needs, you have the ability to present your product. You have the ability to talk to them about how your product can fulfill their needs. What you offer that is going to take them into a situation that is important to them. How they will view the value of what you have to offer. Because at the end of the day, if there's no perceived value, there's no sale. Go ahead and put that into the arena. No value, no sale. Because if they don't see it as important, it's not important. It could be important to you, but it's not to them. So now that you understand what they need, you have the ability to educate the customer on your product and the value of your product. How your product will meet their desires. How your product will fulfill their needs. Because if I need it, I want it, I'll pay for it. And that takes us into the next level. The next level is to negotiate. Many times salespeople lose in the negotiation process. And they lose because they enter into negotiations thinking that my price will drive the purchase. Well, I'm here to tell you from years of experience, it's not always price that drives the purchase. Many times the need will overshadow the price. If not, everybody would be driving around in a Yugo. There'd be no Maserati, there'd be no BMW, there'd be no Mercedes, there'd be no Lexus, because everybody would be buying strictly on price. And I don't have to tell you the difference in the price between a Yugo and a Maserati, or a Yugo and a Mercedes. The price is light years in difference. But why are people buying Mercedes, BMW, Maserati, and all the upper line cars over some of the more economical purchases? Because it's not about price. It's about perceived value and the desire, which is need. They need the prestige of the upper level or upper tier vehicle. Why is it that some people live in apartments and some people live in mansions? Because the value, the perceived value of the mansion is greater. Now, some people can't afford the mansion. I don't want to misrepresent it and say everybody could be living in a mansion. If so, then, world hunger and everything else would probably go away. There is a certain constraint based on their economic ability to do certain things, but your customer will spend within their means, even though you might be a little bit more expensive than your competitor, because there's a perceived value and you've uncovered it. You've uncovered that need behind the need. Excuse me. The other part of negotiation is making sure that in your presentation that you are hitting those hot spots. You are re-emphasizing to them the areas that you've uncovered that are more important than others. They may have needs, but some needs are greater than other needs. Some things have to happen a certain way for them to feel as though it's been a success. What are the most important factors? Can you rank them? Do you understand what they are? So that when you get into your negotiation, you are hitting them with the most powerful things first, foremost, and the hardest, so that they want what you have. It's a process, but you've done your homework, you've uncovered the needs, you've built the relationship, now you can utilize it to take you to the next phase, which is closing. How do I close this business? What is closing? Closing is just asking for the order. Now that we've gone through the process, now that I've presented my product to you, now that you've agreed that I have the best possible product to fulfill your needs, can we have your business? Sometimes you have to do a trial close. Before you do your summation, you need to understand that you have hit all of the hot spots. If we have been able to satisfy your needs, if we have been able to uncover those areas that are most important to you, would we or could we have your business? Are we in a position to do business together? Because at the end of the day, it's all about them. It's not about you. As a salesperson, you have to reverse the role and look at things through the eyes of your customer. But to do that, you have to know your customer. You have to develop a relationship. You know, when I got to one of my locations, and I'll tell you this story in summation, I got to a location that had broken records the year before I got there. This operation had produced $24 million in revenue for the company. It was something that was unconceivable for this office because the office was about 10 years old. And it was an experiment when it started, and they had gone from zero revenue to $24 million for the company in less than 10 years. So they were on holiday. They were having a great time, and everything was wonderful. There were some issues, and they asked me to go into the office and work with a gentleman who I had known from my previous location, who was really, in my mind, somebody I look at as a genius. Because he was a mathematical whiz. And he had written an algorithm for the company. And the algorithm was based on recency, or how recent the customer had done business with us, how much revenue they had generated for us, and how much revenue they are continuing to generate for the company, and in the area of reoccurrence. How many times and how many transactions was this customer doing with us? And the last part of it was based on geographics. What parts of the country did this customer have the ability to do business with us in? And once we got this algorithm done, we took the account base of that office, which was 18,000 accounts. I had 12 proactive salespeople that were managing 18,000 accounts. Think about that. 12 people, 18,000 accounts. That's more than 1,000 accounts per person. In your day, in your month, in your year, could you possibly do a good job managing 18,000 accounts? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you the answer is no. Do you have a relationship with the individuals inside of those 18,000 accounts that has you in the forefront of their mind? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to say no. So, what did we do? We took those 18,000 accounts, we ran them through this algorithm, and we stripped out the top contacts at all of these accounts. Put this in the feed. Hashtag contact, not account. Contact, not account. Because we don't do business with accounts. We do business with people. We do business with individuals. I have never purchased anything from an account. I have purchased things from individuals because I've had relationships with them. So we set out to take those 18,000 active accounts and strip out the cream of the crop. We stripped out those individuals at those accounts that were already generating high levels of volume and revenue to the company that we hadn't really been paying attention to. And we took each one of those salespeople and assigned them 100 of these people, 100 of these key customers. And we gave them the mission of becoming their point of contact, their trusted advisor, and in some instances, their very close friends. The results were phenomenal. Sounds like it's something very simplistic because it's really education or relationship 101. That office in less than 5 years went from $24 to $98 million. What an incredible situation for everybody involved. One of the happiest days of my life, and I know it was the happiest day of many of the salespeople's lives in that office. To give you an idea, we had done $24 million the year before I got there. By the end of this process, there were 6 people in the office producing $7.5 to $8 million each per year. $98 million in less than 4 years. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying your $1 million sales success is understanding the basics, but taking that to the next level. Understanding what used to be the way to do business and looking at a better way. Re-energizing, reinventing, reconstructing the process so that it's more useful to the customer. Understanding who they are, what they are, and what they need. And if we can do that, sky's the limit. Because we do business with our friends and people that we feel comfortable with. Relationships sell. So, if you want to do millions in sales, you have to do a couple of things. Number one, be willing to be bold, be willing to be brazen, to be willing to be different. Take the time to understand who they are and what they need. Then once you understand who they are and what they need, also understand how you can fulfill that need. And once you understand how to fulfill that need, present it with power, present it with confidence, and then negotiate your way to value, not to price. And finally, and most importantly, be comfortable in asking for the business. In learning more about the VSP selling process, you can contact me at info@veltonshowell.com, or you can go to my website and log in, leave me your name and your email address, which will connect you to my newsletter, and it'll give you more information about how to get involved in the VSP Sales Performance Academy. I have 3 levels: silver, gold, and platinum, all of which are available to you to become a part of. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, on my fan page at Strategic Solutions LLC. You can also follow me on LinkedIn and my YouTube channel at Velton Showell. The world of sales is an amazing journey and a great opportunity for all of us. Salespeople and entrepreneurs are the wave of the future. I'm here, I'm excited, and I'm very, very happy to help you live your best life. I'm Velton Showell, and I look forward to some incredible things from each and every one of you. For those of you who are interested in the VSP Sales Performance Academy, I'm going to make you a special offer today. The Academy runs for a year, and normally the cost to get involved in the Academy for the year is $12,000. $12,000 to be coached personally by me. But for those of you who sign up today, just today, I'm going to give you access to the Academy. And I'm going to do it for the first 10 people. The first 10 people who text 954-305-5071. That's 954-305-5071. For the first 10 people that text me, I will give you 6 months of the VSP Performance Academy for $497. $497 for 6 months of personal coaching towards your $1 million sales success with me. Gotta act fast because it's the first 10 people that text 954-305-5071 and say, VSP, I'm in. Text VSP, I'm in. And we'll make your sales success